in subsequent games. But what are you saying about some of these big stories? Kaidi joins me now for a review of your thoughts. Hello, Kaidi.
Tough being sinner.
Yeah,
right
very
now.
tough, right?
Just the player, not the actor. I know he gets that joke a lot. But let's walk through what you've been saying. And we start off with Nigerians' reactions to the news of President Bola Tinubu departing Abuja today for the United Kingdom for a 2-week vacation as part of his annual leave. Yes. Presidents go on leave as well. So this is what you've been saying about that. The very first writer, Toby Wright, has this to say, says everybody deserves vacation, including the president. This user ends by saying the hard work no be small. So there you have it.
Yeah. And this next one is from Pato, who says, when will our president start having their vacation in Nigeria? Good question. I understand that sometimes politicians will always disturb them when they're in the country, that's Nigeria, but the president can make it very strict that he doesn't want any visitors for that duration.
Okay, so there's been a lot of comparison. Where did the president of U.S. Go on vacation, for example? Oh, he did it in Delaware. Where is that? Oh, that's in the U.S., right? So why isn't the president vacated? No, that's not. Why is the president
at Bodleian, or maybe that's another beehive of activity in terms of politics.
Imagine for a moment that the president is on a beach, because you could see the president of the U.S. taking pictures on a beach, just resting. So imagine the president of Nigeria on a beach in a part of a country, or in Gembu, Taraba, or just in a very nice place.
Right.
That would really sell that place.
And the local can just approach Mr. President and say hello and take a picture.
He's on leave. He's on leave. Okay. Allow him to rest. Right. The next user, Mohammed Amin Saad, says leaders should rest or go on leave only. He puts the only in caps. Only when the job is done, or is it being done? Nigerians are presently going through excruciating times, which consensus leaders are supposed to empathize with and be available, accessible, and capable to address these sufferings. Okay, well, do you go on leave only when you're maybe done with your job? I think every year workers get to go on leave, right? Whether or not they've done the job, that's the essence. They take a moment and come back to continue their job. But the point this user is making is quite germane, saying, unfortunately, we're being told to suffer more in patience while the authorities sort the rot out. The same rot made by same authorities handle it. So, yeah.
Apparently, there's a lot of expectations from Mr. President. Uneasy lies the head that wears the crown, as they say. But Mr. President does deserve some rest, as everyone does. Well, this next thought is from, another writer, Sigma Tees, I believe, who says, the president calls on Nigerians in the diaspora to return home, yet he himself travels abroad for holidays and medical care, suggesting that the country he aims to improve is insufficient. Given the immense challenges Nigeria faces, such overseas trips for leisure and breaks seem unnecessary.
Okay, different angles to this one. Oh yes, different angles to this one, and I know that this would always be a debate, but we'll see how this plays out. So 2 weeks the president is taking, and it's part of his annual leave, so we're not even sure if he's exhausted his annual leave. So 2 weeks the president needs to rest in the United Kingdom, and so we wish him the very best. So we'll see how the challenges back home are resolved. In the meantime, you expect that the president will hand over to the vice president, and these things will be handled. But let's talk about money in circulation, right? And the CBN recently said that currency in circulation is now 4.1 trillion naira, with only 6% in banks. So people are wondering, whatever happened to the cashless policy, 6% in banks? Well, the very first user says it is more expensive to have your money in the banks right now. People in the rural areas would rather have their cash in their purse than receive debit alert every time someone sends money to them. And we need to make this point. The maintenance fees, the different deductions, some of them monthly, and you're wondering, money is not really coming into this account, right? There isn't money coming into this account, but you're getting debited for different things, or you don't even get to use ATMs. People don't use ATMs as much anymore because ATMs don't have money.
That's why the report is curious, because the ATMs do not have money. How come there's so much money in circulation? 4 trillion in naira.
Well, there's a POS bit of this, right? There's a POS economy.
And because of the POS economy, some have resolved not to conduct cash transactions. They would rather go the route of, transfers, even for the simplest of transactions. But that also needs to be subjected to some form of data so that we have empirical data by which we reach our conclusions. But it's so curious, for me at least, that, you have this quantum of cash in circulation, and yet the ATMs are not dispensing any cash.
Big questions, really. Well, the next user, we'll call him.
Yeah.
Uncle Choice.
You go ahead and take that.
Our Uncle Choice says, is that why ATM, took it right out of our mouth. Is that why the ATMs don't pay people anymore? People now withdraw through POS only with exorbitant charges. So there's a very interesting debate ongoing in this one. On the one hand, it's been said that the POS business creates employment for people, right? So it's like a new stream of income and employment. All of a sudden, it just came up. But what happens is you go to ATMs, you don't get cash, so you have to go to the POS where you are charged, depending on how much, 200 500 upwards, and that's way more than what you get from the ATM. So it obviously eats into the monies of people. So if you're meant to withdraw 1,000 naira, you're meant to pay 200 extra on it. That's 1,200. So what you're getting is 800 at the end of the day, and not 1,000.
And that's a whole economy
on its own
that has been created.
So there's a job, and there's also what it does to people's monies, because you pay more. Now it's like you're buying.
It's a second
you're buying the
currency exchange rate. Well, this next one is from I am MMAD_MMAD, who says, oh wow, 4.1 trillion naira in circulation and only 6% in banks. Clearly, everyone's just stashing naira under their mattresses now.
So it's a big one. We really hope that the authorities, CBN, and all the others who are involved in this will really sit down and have a conversation around what we really want. We can have the money in POS and also at the ATMs. We can have those at the same time, not just the POS. And you see people just keep diverting because they make more from that. But let's tell you about the Port Harcourt Refinery. Oh yes, it's the elephant in the room. It's October the 3rd. So yet again, the Port Harcourt Refinery has missed the deadline set. I know Nigerians are maybe not surprised because this is not the first time, but September was meant to be the takeoff date for the Port Harcourt Refinery. But hey, we're on October 3rd, and it hasn't started.
How many deadlines have the NNPCL missed to deliver the Port Harcourt Refinery now?
So you can go all the way back to December last year, right? There was that, we'll have it in December, and he said, no, it's just a technical, startup. It's not the main startup. And then we've pushed from, I think, is it June or July, August, September, and that's where we're at right now. The Dangote Refinery has come through on its own, but the Port Harcourt Refinery has not just yet. And it's important in this whole conversation because we need to also know how much Port Harcourt Refinery will be selling petrol, so we can weigh these things against each other. So Karma Classic has a first comment, says the NNPC and Melekiari, that's the GCEO of NNPC Limited, have consistently been inconsistent with the fact that about the commencement of the operations of the PH refinery. So this user says, I feel a deep sense of indignant disbelief as the commencement of the refinery operations has continually been postponed. And I think this just mirrors the thought of a lot of Nigerians.
A lot of Nigerians. And maybe that's why sometimes some people would say, why should the president be going on leave? He's the Minister of Petroleum, so he should be answering this question, really. Well, there's no end to the questions that we are asking on your behalf, and we're taking some more. Lysis said, at what point will these guys realize that getting the trust of the people you govern is the first step in economic and even physical security?
Oh yes.
No one invests both emotionally and financially in a system that they don't trust, and that is so profound.
So clearly what this does is erodes the trust. There's been a deficiency in that trust, right? But then the more you hear these things and then they don't come to pass, the wider that gap gets. The next user, Boss Tafa talks about the historical and structural challenges such as inefficiency. So this is a huge issue, and it's still mind-boggling that the authorities are keeping quiet. As you said, we have a Minister of Petroleum, that's the President. We have the State Minister. We have the NNPC Limited authorities, and all all of these people have kept quiet. I mean, in an ideal situation,
and we're celebrating 64 years as a nation.
In an ideal situation, there's meant to be a panel. These people are there, and then you answer questions from Nigerians. What exactly is going on? Because it's democracy. It's meant to be government of the people, by the people, and for the people. So what is going on? If you're not able to give tenable answers, then it's quite simple. If you can't deliver, then you give way to another person who can deliver. That is how things get better, not keeping quiet and taking people for granted.
And we're going to be reflecting on how things should be getting better as far as politics is concerned. But that'll be right after this time out. Join us again. We'll be right back.